Hey, welcome back, guys. Hey, we just sitting here in my garage. I got a fresh batch of Easton Axis match grade 260 spine. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna build these arrows. I will talk you through my process, and then I'll just give you a little bit what's on my mind. Before we go into that, I need y'all to do something for us. I need y'all to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure when you subscribe, you hit that notification bell, okay? All right, let's go. One thing that you might struggle with is removing these knocks out of the back. Easton makes a little knock turning tool. If you just kind of rotate the knock a little bit, it'll back the knock out, and then you can go ahead and yank it out, okay? So after I do that, what I'm gonna do, I take my Sharpie and I just go around each end, okay? And you'll see why a little bit later. I'm gonna grind each side, and having this Sharpie on either end, it just lets me know if I'm grinding this down evenly. It's super important to have a perfectly square, just both ends of the arrow to be perfectly square. All of this stuff affects your arrow flight, and it goes into when you start trying to broadhead tune. These will just give you little issues, okay? I know some people think this is overkill, but I disagree. Here at Privileged Bow Hunter, though, we don't just, you know what I mean? We don't do anything halfway. We try to do everything to the best of our ability. Once again, we talked about in the last, I want to say the last video, one of the last couple of videos, we talked about to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So if I know that there's a better way that I can do something, then it don't hurt me to just go all the way with it. And how I feel, I know that I've been exhausted. I know that I've caught cramps hunting in the mountains, trying to chase some of these Spanish goats out here. So when my physical capabilities and my physical fitness starts to fail me a little bit, because guess what, I ain't Cam Haynes, I don't need to be worried about my equipment. So the work that I can put in here on the front end, you know, it may save me. It may save me from wounding the animal. So is this necessary from when I'm sitting here hunting pigs at 10 or 15 yards over bait? No. But when I'm up there chasing those goats, and it's hard to judge the range, and you're kind of shooting over canyons, and if you hunted like that before, you should already know that that stuff is going to play with your eyes. It's going to, you know, it's going to mess with your depth perception a little bit. So why not have a bulletproof setup? You know, if you've kind of, if you're of the mindset that, you know, this is overkill, I get it. But if you're Western hunting, if you're doing Western style hunts, you probably agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, your bow tech agrees with me. So ask your bow tech. So what I do next, I take this G5, it says G5 ASD tool. All I do is take this, and all I'm doing is grinding this until all of that Sharpie is gone. Hey, if y'all see the camera bob a little bit, hey, Chris passing out over here. This is this is boring to Chris. I am an archery nerd though. I love this stuff. Hey, I need y'all got to leave in the comments below if y'all want to see Chris in the videos, because I need Chris, because Chris is competitive. We bowl together, we play basketball together, we play flag football together. Chris will get out there and talk some stuff, but he enjoys the filming and the editing more than he does the archery. So if y'all go ahead and encourage him to get back out there so I can get a 1v1 with Chris. All I'm doing, I work it. There's still some of the Sharpie here on the end. It's not perfect, so I don't know if that's zoomed in or not. Chris trying to work his magic back there behind it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But just trust, the whole end was full of Sharpie, and then as I grind it, it's working in a way. It's the same concept if you sharpen your knives. If you sharpen your broadheads, all of this stuff is really the same concept. So I got a bunch of these to do. I doubt that you will see me do all of these. I feel like Chris is gonna cut a bunch of these. He's gonna fast forward them. This is why some of the videos on the title, I'll put like nerds only. Some of this stuff is just, you know what I'm saying? If you want to take it, if you want to take that archery to the next level and then surpass that old grouchy dude at the range that wondering how you surpassed him in accuracy and kills, this is the little stuff that it takes. Okay. I get it all the time at work too. People say I always go over the top with everything. They say, my recruiters will say, "Oh, Chief, you being extra today," or this, that, and the third. But I really don't know any other way to be. So all of this time, it's probably been like 2-3 minutes just on one end of one arrow. Don't tap out though. This one's good. One end and the other. The knock in is just as important as the front end, okay? All right, that's one. All right, so next, I just take some rubbing alcohol, some Q-tips. I just filled that cap up with rubbing alcohol. I'm going to the end where my insert's gonna be, and I'm just trying to get all of that, all of the debris from grinding this down. You see how black it is? So when I put that epoxy in there, the problem, what's gonna happen is, I just don't want anything messing up the bond from the insert, from the brass insert, to this carbon composite that's here, okay? Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I see why people don't like this stuff, but it's just a hobby of mine. All right, so you see all these Q-tips are dirty because what I did off camera was I dipped them in rubbing alcohol and just cleaned all the carbon out. Then you do it until you keep cleaning it out until you don't see any more carbon there, okay? So the next step, brass insert. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going with the 50. So basically this whole piece is 75 grains, but if you break off this end, you got 50 grains. So go through each of them. Hey, you'll impress me if you can break that off yourself. Hey, for all my submarine sailors out there, drop below in the comments what we call this on the sub. So I do this real quickly. Just clean it off. Maybe there's a little bit of grease or whatever. Set them to the side. So these are called the HIT inserts. So I believe the HIT stands for Hidden Insert Technology. Put them on with a 2-part epoxy. You can use a 2-part from your hardware store. The problem is with a lot of the 2-parts that you'll find out there is they stink, and it takes a while for your arrows to not smell like a nail salon, okay? So simple. As you see, Hidden Insert Technology. I just used the package that they came in. Mix them out, get them both on here evenly. So what'll happen when you start to mix it, it'll kind of start to turn grayish. Right now it's real transparent, and then as you mix it, it'll kind of turn to translucent. You can really just use the back of one of these inserts. And like I said, it'll start to turn a little grayish from that clear color as you mix it up. All right, so here's what I don't want y'all to mess up too, okay? I've had friends that mess this up. So for one, make sure you're putting them in. You should be putting the insert on the side where the match grade symbol is. Do them all the same way. So what I'm doing is kind of twisting this as I put it in there. Easton makes this little insert tool. Use this to get the insert in. If not, you will not have proper fit with your fill points or your broadheads, okay? And it's very important. You see this other end? There is no knock in here. Please don't make that mistake, because what happens is if you leave the knock in, what's gonna happen as you force that insert in, you're going to create pressure in this length of the tube. That pressure over time is gonna want to relieve itself, and it's probably gonna relieve itself where the insert is. So it'll start pushing that insert forward further and further, and then what'll happen is you'll go in, you know, the next day after you built your arrows, and what you'll try to screw it in, you'll notice a gap between like your field point or your broadhead. That's because you didn't take the knockout, and all that pressure relieved itself right out the front end of your arrow. So please don't make that mistake. Make sure you lay these flat, okay? Make sure you lay these on a level surface for 24 hours, because if you lay it on the slope, what's gonna happen is this insert is gonna slide, and then once again, you will not have proper fit in your broadheads or field points. This insert tool kind of cleans out some of the epoxy as you're going. 24 hours have elapsed. So what you're gonna do now, you're gonna take a field point and just check that you got a good fit, check that it's seated all the way around. Shouldn't have any issues here. Good. Okay, you all get the point. I've already done all these. They're all good. Okay, so next, I left one of these wraps off for y'all. I'm gonna wrap one of my arrows. I'm using carbon 4-inch blazer wraps. I cannot find my mouse pad, so hopefully this works. Normally I just use a computer mouse pad for this. And I like to leave a little bit of the end just in case like your arrows are slapping a little bit. You want to be able to see if the back of your arrow is cracked, so. Boom. My old sweaty knee brace for squatting worked. So look, when you're putting these knocks in, take a little bit of string wax, just lube it up a little bit, and it'll help, right? Because these things the fit is just really, really tight. So that way you can, your knock's not gonna fall off the back or anything, but at least you'll be able to actually turn it a little bit. So basically what we're gonna do is knock tune these arrows. I want all of these arrows to either tear a perfect bullet hole or tear in the exact same manner. So it's simple. All I'm doing is trying to execute a good shot. So those are match grade. So that's pretty close, just straight up out the box. So I can probably manipulate this a little bit by turning the knock. Let's see, a little bit tail right. So what I like to do is just keep it simple and consistent. I'm gonna turn it to the left just a little bit. I always turn the knock to the left, and I always do a little bit at a time. And we're gonna see if we can turn this into a bullet hole. Please, please, please make sure you're looking at that little indicator on the left, because without fletchings, it's easy to put this on your, put that arrow on your string the wrong way, and then you're gonna be chasing your tail. So that's really close. I'm gonna try a little bit more, but if I'm turning it and I just can't get it to go any better than that, then what I'll do is just barely adjust my rest, and that'll still be very, very acceptable. And then all of them will tear bullet holes after that. Ooh, forgot the arrow puller. So give it another slight turn to the left. Oh, man. With this, you also have to pay attention to your face pressure. When you're shooting a bare shaft arrow, this is super important. Too much. If you putting face pressure on here, if you're torquing your hand, this is a good way to just kind of train your shot too. So let me pull the arrow. That's a bullet hole. 3 shots, turn the knock 3 times. Yeah, I mean, especially with a fatter head on the fill tip, that's really what you want right there. I'm gonna make sure I got this index here, this little knuckle on the knock right there, right? And then what I'm gonna do, you see where that X is? It's really hard to see on camera, but I just draw a line right there. So now I can take this knockout or whatever, but I can line it right back up. So I want all of my arrows to dynamically act like that and shoot that bullet hole with no fletchings on it. So when I put my fletchings on here, when I throw my broadheads on here, stupid easy, super easy to go ahead and tune, and you're not chasing your tail, okay? So I like to clean these off just a little bit. It probably not useful, but it's the technician in me. I like to start from a controlled setting and then go from there. The thing about rubbing alcohol is it dries fast. And then I take this pen, squeeze a little bit out, and it's just to prep it. It's just a primer. I'm going along the end of this blazer vein, each one. Try not to do too much. Cool. So there's a boning fletching tower. It'll do all 3 at once. And then, yeah, obviously I get a little bit of the grease probably that I just wiped off on here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking with the light, kind of getting the light so it'll shine through here. And I have to slide these down so they're sitting perfectly. It's not the most advanced fletching jig in the world, but it works. And I get really, really good broadhead flight using this thing. So now I'm just running a thin bead of glue all the way down. It's important not to do too much because it's gonna start running out the sides and even start getting stuck to the jig. So this takes a little bit of finesse, but I really like it because you can do 3. You can fletch 3 at once, okay? Okay, so we knock tuned the arrows, right? We found that spot that shoots a perfect bullet hole. So now what I want you to do is take that mark and line it up with the fletching that you have facing up. Okay, so I get that aligned. Boom. And then you let that sit there a minute, and now you have all of your arrows fletched the same exact way, and your arrows without fletchings on are going to react perfectly. And then once you add the fletching, it's gonna be that much better. You add the broadheads to the front, and now you're stacking the cards in your favor to be able to go out there and execute a perfect shot, even when you're tired and when you're torquing your hand a little bit. And when things ain't going as well, your equipment is gonna be perfect. And when you're not always perfect, your equipment sometimes will be able to make up for some of those mistakes, okay? So if you like this video, you gotta do us a favor. We need you to comment, like, share, and subscribe, okay? If you don't know how to spell his channel, it's Privileged. I know you know how to spell bow hunter. Let's go.